Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and today we're going to be taking a demo dip into Amnesia, the bunker. I was debating skipping the demo for this because the game itself is out on the 6th of June, so it's really not that far off, but I thought we'd check it out, and this demo is apparently anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour, depending on how much detail you want to absorb, or if you're just going to beeline the objective. I think we're going to do kind of half and half. We're not going to explore everything, because I'd like to save that for the actual game, and not, spoil too much, especially because the bunker is apparently going to be a shorter game. 4 to 6 hours, they've said. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this, especially because this looks like... So, Frictional Games kind of makes two kinds of games now. There is the Penumbra-style games, where you're kind of thrown into these various environments, these kind of larger areas where you usually have a number of puzzles you have to solve and one central puzzle that you need to progress to the next area. And that's the kind of game that I would say the first Amnesia fell into. Then you have the more linear, more kind of scripted games that they make that are still similar in format, but less open-ended, and I'd say that started with Soma, and Amnesia Rebirth fell into that category as well, but this one seems to strongly fall more back into the Penumbra or Dark Descent category, so that's why I'm excited for it. I'm curious if this is going to start from the beginning of the game, or it's going to start once you get in the bunker, because I know that you start outside of the bunker in your actual game. You're a French soldier in the trenches of World War I, and you end up taking shelter in this bunker that is supposed to be held by French soldiers, only to find something horrible inside that you're trapped in there with. At least that's the setup that I've kind of got from the trailers they've been showing. And to their credit, most of the stuff they've shown has been gameplay trailers, rather than dolled up cinematics. But one thing they distinctly haven't shown is the main creature that you are trapped in this bunker with, because it is going to be hunting you all the time, but they don't seem to want to spoil its appearance until the game comes out. And I believe you won't actually see it in this demo fully. It's present, but you'll never see it come out of the shadows. Alright, so we're just kind of in here. Still the same engine they've been using pretty much since Penumbra. They've upgraded it, but it is clearly the same engine. I've seen some people whine about how it looks dated, but I think it works fine enough for what they do. So yeah, again, the classic tactile interface of being able to just grab stuff and drag it around, or walk up and click on it, chuck stuff around. And apparently a lot of the puzzles in this game are a little open-ended in how you can solve them, so sometimes just picking something up and chucking at it is a viable solution. I remember how many puzzles in Black Plague had alternate solutions, but then you could also just throw a fucking rock at them instead of doing their, puzzly solution. So, 10th of July, 1916, Soldat Clement admitted to medical treatment following events of 9th July. Personal effects held in storage locker. Patient remains in weak coma state. Will respond to stimuli, but only for brief periods of time. When last roused, he reported no memory of recent events, had trouble recalling even his own name, most likely due to severity of initial head trauma. We'll continue to monitor. If status does not improve in a week's time, recommend transfer to Saint Etienne for neurological tests. Dr. Josinski. So yeah, this is a French bunker, which means that most of this stuff is, I assume, meant to be translated from French. We are a French soldier. Can open all the drawers. Another frictional staple. We don't have any inventory yet. We don't have a flashlight or anything. this even locked? Kind of looks like it's just wrapped around. Oh yeah, I guess they are linked. Alright. There's our flashlight. So this is a wind-up flashlight. But yeah, I guess it makes noise, so it will actually attract the creature when you're winding it up. I think you can just hold this indefinitely. And apparently this is a real thing from the time period. This style of, you know, wind-up flashlight.
9th of July, 1700 hours. I'm in a state of agony.
So this is us.
It cripples my body, captures my mind, bleeds my soul. This thing I've done, this thing. It is lunch in the mess hall currently. Ugh, the thought of eating repulses me.
So, I'm guessing, like Dark Descent, our character will only have a voice in his journals. I'm guessing this also doesn't have a very long battery life, and that you have to constantly be winding it. I think in general we're going to want to stay away from these. I do wonder if this has the, you know, kind of sanity loss when you're in the dark.
We're trapped down here. Exit behind them. You want to escape. You need to blow it back open. There's dynamite in the arsenal. And a handle to trigger it somewhere in the excavation site. Get them, and you can make it out. Shit. That thing, it's coming for me. Here, take this. Finish me off, please. I want to die at the hands of a brother soldier, not that monster.
I mean, how many bullets you got in this thing?
Get it. Do the job, please.
Currently none. Alright. I was gonna say, if we only got one bullet, I might need that for later. Now, can I wind this while I'm holding something? No. I remember with the very first trailer, myself and other people were wondering if you only get a single bullet for the entire game. I mean, you know, I was gonna finish him off. Alright, you gotta individually load them. We got 2 rounds. I do like that you can actually see the empty cylinders as well. You know, so you can visually keep track of your ammo. A lot of games will just do, like, unfired cylinders, even when they're supposed to be empty. Or, sorry, fired cylinders. They'll have the pin pushed in on the ammo, but it really should just be empty. Of course, some games have the pin's already fired even on the ammo you're supposed to be firing. A common misconception among developers who don't know their firing mechanics. Alright, so we've got ammo, and we got our kind of puzzle laid out. We need to find two things in a large area to solve the puzzle to get out of the area. Now, can I hotkey this thing so that I don't have to... No, I guess you have to actually pull it out in real time. How do I unequip it? Okay, gun is R. So, we might actually need the gun here to get through the door. I don't think there was a key to get through there instead. And now it sounds like that's above me. I thought it was from behind us. Nice to be playing another frictional game, though. It hasn't even been that long since Rebirth came out. So it was a surprise when they announced the bunker, and it was like, oh, this is coming out in a couple months. And it has been delayed a few times, but if that means it comes out more polished, then I'm okay with that. Batiste. Okay. We can just collect dog tags from fellow soldiers. Important. When processing deceased soldiers, please check the reverse side of their ID tags for any messages, symbols, or locker codes. These are to be wiped clean before the tag is preserved and recorded. Okay. So they will have hints on them as well. Where do those go when you pick them up? Alright, and instead of a horrible eldritch lamp that you save your progress in, like in Penumbra, it is just a regular lamp. Oh, we have item boxes. I guess if we have a limited inventory, then that makes sense. But Amnesia's never had a limited inventory before, right? Like, you've always just been able to pick up whatever you could pick up. Well, I guess this is a safe room. We have a map of the compound. So they said we need a detonator from the excavation, which is not even on here, and a explosive from the arsenal. Oh, and the exit's right there. But I'm wondering if escaping is, like, the objective for the whole game. Like, that is what you're trying to do, but because you have to go down to the excavation, which is probably where whatever horrible thing is lurking in the bunker came from, then you have to delve deeper and deeper into its kind of lair in order to actually get out of here. Update to all medical and mortuary personnel. The rat problem has not gotten any better. They're swarming over every dead body. They're even coming after the wounded. But the vermin have no interest in flesh after it is burnt. So a new policy must be instituted. The bodies of all deceased soldiers must be burned. I've spoken to Father Durai about this matter. He will provide proper consecration for the deceased. Remains will be preserved for families. This is not ideal, and it fills my soul with pain. But burning the dead seems to be the only way to stop the rats from coming, so burn them we must. Now, going by the other Amnesia games, the cause of there being a monster here is likely to be another place with technology from the other world, since we know that it has a variety of different ways to turn humans into monsters. Right, here is the generator, which is going to be a main mechanic for this game, because when you fuel it up, it will power on all the lights in the kind of main hallways, and I think the creature will not come out in the light. But there's going to be a limited amount of fuel for you to loot around the bunker. Alright, 6262. And we have a specific tab for those codes. Interesting that this actually takes up a inventory slot, but this will keep track of how much fuel we have left before we go back to darkness. So yeah, you're basically making these like limited runs out of this central area. I mean, I assume you can still go out when it's dark and it's not like instant kill, but you'll probably be limited on, you know, how much you can really do without the protection of the light. Warning, generator fuel is extremely flammable. Do not light any fires near the fuel, do not fire any weapons near the fuel. For God's sakes, do not even smoke your cigarettes near it. Store it only in sturdy metal canisters, glass breaks far too easily. If it spills, wipe the area clean immediately, then dispose of the rags outside of the bunker. I wonder if that means we can also, potentially, you know, blow up our gasoline to get rid of rats or something. Okay, so there's another one here. I mean, I guess we just put it in. No reason to save it. It's a demo, after all. There's probably a hotkey for this as well. Kind of weird that he would write that on his dog tag. I guess he didn't write it, though, because it was already imprinted on the tag. So yeah, they've made a point of saying, like, hey, there is a lot of different ways to do things in this game. There's not just, like, one solution to every puzzle. I'm wondering if this is... I guess it's just a distraction. It's not a crafting item. Well, we don't need that cloth right now, so I'm going to deposit it. I'm also guessing there's probably only this one item box in the game. It's not like Resident Evil, but there's going to be a bunch of them. And well, let's go check out the exit, which is presumably exploded. What even is this? Kind of looks like a mess kit or something. Have not seen another human for hours now. I might be the last. But, in the hope that there might be another, I leave this now so you do not waste any time. This is the only exit. The only way out of this hell of our own making. It was blown closed. It needs to be blown open. Don't bother digging. Impossible. Blow it up. The dynamite is locked in the arsenal. The detonator handle is somewhere down in the Roman tunnels, deeper in hell. So yeah, there is clearly some ancient human tunnels down there that probably have some even more ancient otherworld stuff in them. And Amnesia Rebirth as well did have a connection between ancient Roman tunnels and otherworld crap. So that's probably a similar situation here. I go now to try and retrieve them both. Though I do not know if you exist, I pray for you. Please, extend me the same courtesy. Okay, objectives will be marked on your maps, but I'm wondering if that means the maps, like, around the bunker, or if we actually have a physical map on us. Man, that's really not that much of a barrier. I feel like you could probably dig this out if there wasn't a horrible creature coming to eat your ass while you're doing it. So I believe that this switch that I just turned on here would power on the lights. They're not automatically connected. So you have to kind of go through the bunker and extend further and further out. Your kind of safety network. Alright, let's give her a whirl. I don't know how to sync the watch with it, though. I guess like that. I feel like we don't have that long. It's like 30 seconds. Wait, is this supposed to be up or down? Also, I'm guessing that the amount of power you're using doesn't affect how quickly the generator goes. Like, it'll just burn that fuel regardless. Now, I'm guessing that we're probably not going to be able to just walk into the arsenal. There's going to be some other puzzle just to even get in there. Which, I'm going to guess is behind this door. So we're going to need to find a valve before we can get in there. No, that's on lockdown as well. So, like, I'm wondering now, can I just smash one of these doors open by throwing something heavy at it? Because that works sometimes in Penumbra as well. Now, it said objective updated, but where do we actually keep those objectives? Is that also in our safe room? Okay, that's locked down as well. Well, really kind of filing me in one direction at the moment. The audio design in the gameplay they showed was also very good for, like, keeping track of where the creature is. Alright, that must be the excavation site. 2nd of May, 1916, from Sergeant Joubert to M. Fournier and D. Blanchet. Engineers have broken through our storage area and into the old Roman tunnels. They are, as we thought, structurally sound, deep, and I confess I was skeptical of this last point, but they do indeed lead in the direction of the German line. By September, we should be in position to launch a massive push from inside the tunnels. Perhaps of note, inside the tunnels we found urns, Latin text, etc. We'll do our best to preserve some materials for posterity. Updates to follow. So I like that these doors do have locks on them, which means you can probably lock them behind you as the creature's coming and slow it down. But I'm equally sure that it can destroy those doors permanently. There is fresh dust coming out of that hole, so I'm pretty sure if I go over there, I will be consumed. What I'm curious of is how that thing can fit through that hole, because it definitely can fit through those holes. Alright, I don't think we should read right here, because time does not stop when you're reading. This is a seemingly no-pause kind of game. Well, unless you do that. Jenny is gonna go in a moment. Perhaps a feeble attempt. Well, he looks like he's had a bad time. Oh no, it is just scrolled on. I don't know why I thought the first one was printed. Alright. So gasoline does not stack. Is that perhaps a sketch of the creature's face? "15th of May, 1916, from SDT. I was gonna say Sergeant, but obviously that's not SGT. M. Fournier and D. Blanchett. I'm now putting into writing what I have reported to both my immediate superiors. Last evening, 14th of May, I was assigned to aid the engineers in mapping the Roman tunnels. As I entered the deepest area of the tunnels, I noticed strange glowing liquids seeping from the walls. When I turned around, the walls of the tunnels themselves were suddenly gone, and I was standing in a vast plain of darkness. In the distance, there was a sickly light that seemed to be calling me forward. Between it and me, malformed shadows moved. I blinked again. It was gone. I was back in the tunnel. It lasted but a split second, but I am quite convinced that what I saw was no daydream. It was real. Since that experience, I have felt haunted, like a part of me is still there, stuck in the tunnel. I keep seeing shapes moving at the edge of my vision. I'm formally requesting medical leave. Please help me." 30th of June, 1916, V. Delphi to M. Fournier and D. Blanchett et al. After the raid of last evening, we have in custody some 20 German soldiers from the 4th Reserve Corps of the 2nd Army. This puts our cells past capacity. With one exception, I recommend they be shipped to the camps as soon as feasible. Prisoner number 73014 I'd like to hold. Before capture, he ripped his rank and insignia from his uniform, so his rank remains unknown. Since capture, he has refused to say a word. I suspect he may be an officer or other important person. I believe once removed from his men, we can break him. Please advise. Or maybe he turned into a horrible creature. So yeah, it sounded like he might have found one of those, voids between the worlds. Oh, alright. We found an extra pocket. The lights are still running. I guess we got a couple minutes left. Not seconds, as I originally thought. Alright, we got a tripwire here. Probably don't want to step on that. Is this an explosive barrel? Okay, C is clock. Running definitely generates a lot of noise. I don't think we really need the bottle right now, because, you know, the creature can't come out and chase us. funny how apparently we know exactly how long that amount of gas will last for just by looking at it. Alright. So we opened up a shortcut. But we didn't find any puzzle item in here that we could use to, you know, open up access anywhere else. We also didn't fully explore this yet. Shooting the beast. After Tremblay's death, the bunker descended into chaos. I have retaken control and ordered the men to form up in squads. They're to hunt the beast down and kill it. They tell me it's not possible. They tell me the bullets don't kill it. They only buy a little time, and the beast comes back angrier. Cowards. I've sent them back out now to do as they should. Hunt and kill it. If they fail, they'll face a fate worse than claws in the darkness. So yeah, pretty obviously, you can't just shoot the horrible thing that's going to be chasing you for the whole game to kill it. Because it probably just regenerates. Close call. I've ordered increased security for the arsenal, lock and code, and I will root out those responsible for this horrendous act. Justice will be done for friends. Alright, you definitely don't want to get too close to that. Because it is just an instant kill rather than it trying to grab you. Now, I've seen some people say that the timer from the gas is off-putting. Like, you know, they don't like having games with timers, but I honestly don't think it is that crucial of a timer. It's more of just a safety window where you're slightly safer, not completely safe, but slightly safer than if you were running around in a completely dark bunker. But it doesn't seem like you start to freak out in the dark, so that's good for, you know, the style of game here. It is actually possible to sneak around in the dark and not get caught by the creature. Okay, we don't want to go that way. Right, I locked this door. I was like, wasn't this already open? Oh, there's a smaller hole there. I don't know if you can fit through there, if that is just for rats. Because there are rats around. Lots of rats. I'm gonna try a little experiment here. You can indeed blow open the doors, if you so choose. In fact, there doesn't actually seem to be another way in here. Who puts a fucking chain on a filing cabinet? Psychos. Renard, I want you to personally oversee nighttime security in the tunnels. The last 2 nights I've heard someone moving through the corridors when there was no patrol scheduled. I will not have another bout of sabotage. emergency lockdown becomes necessary, find Delisle. He keeps the necessary lockdown wheels tucked away in mission storage. Okay. So now we know where the wheel we need is to open the lockdown. Alright, just a grenade in somebody's drawer. A health kit. Wondering how useful a health kit is when most things will just kill you instantly. Further to your investigations of the tunnel sabotage, your assumptions are safe. Start with those who spread the rumors about magic and devilry in the tunnels. Clearly they've sabotaged in their minds for weeks. Use any means necessary to elicit confessions. We cannot allow this treason to go unpunished. So what I was trying to do before I got yanked is push this in front of the hole to see if that would block it. And it probably would if there wasn't a creature immediately in there. Someone was like, yep, this will make a good photo. All that we found left of him was his hand. Alright, so we need to get into mission control. Oh, let's not open that. I think the hand is our health meter. So the fact that we have blood now means that, you know, we have to heal. I need to find something small to throw out this tripwire. Alright. My board was eaten by the wall. Alright. Like we're playing Trespasser again. Meat. Pretty sure that's his meat. That was a lot of explosions for what I expected to be one. Alright, well we do need to get to the mission room, but we also opened up this area. That looks flammable. Oh, you can also dump it if you want to set something on fire yourself. This guy is even more savage than the last one. Alright, we got plenty of time left on the Jenny. From Fournier to Foreman Stafford, this is our fourth formal request for a resupply of wine. The cellar is running low. I fear the reaction among the men and my fellow officers if we're forced to implement harsher rationings. I'm already fielding complaints on a daily basis. This army runs on morale, and morale runs on wine. My initial request was 10 crates. So far we have received 2. Fix it. We are talking about the French army here. We got a flare. Is there anything we actually need in here but wine? Like, do we have a use for wine? I bet there's gonna be some, like, officer asshole locked up somewhere who's like, I'm not opening this door without this many bottles of wine. So I'm pretty sure we could bash these off if we had, like, a good rock or something. I mean, looking at the thing still freaks your guy out, but I'm guessing not in the same way that it gives you away, because he's not going like like a previous Amnesia protagonist would. Alright, now we need to head back to... I feel like I heard footsteps there when I wasn't moving. We need to head to mission storage and try to find a way in. Oh, I didn't even notice there was a grate here. But that's a great way to get in. There are definitely a lot of rat holes around for rats to get through. So I wonder if they become more prevalent as the game goes on. Alright, I see the wheel. A bunch of these people have lockers in here that you're going to need to find their dog tags for. I like that the unclaimed locker just has a grenade in it. I mean, clearly they were like, yeah, we can use these to get around as well. Delisle. Did we find a code on Delisle? We did, the 6923. Alright, now we can lift the lock down. This guy doesn't have a dog tag. Oh, he does. It's kind of funny that the dog tag has fallen off all of them. 9953. Wait. Backwards. I don't know why I went from right to left. Medkit. Bullets. I'm guessing, like, the bullets are only one at a time, even though they come in a box.
9th of July. I do not know the time, but dusk has fallen, and still, of course, no word. When I asked the sergeant, he shrugged, as if I was asking about when it might next rain. These fools around me, laughing, drinking, arguing. Do they know what I've done? Do they suspect it? I feel they must all be guilty of something. And yet, they laugh, drink, argue. God knows what I've done. I wonder if his judgment could be worse than my own.
Gee, I wonder if our protagonist does not remember what he's done, you know, himself. He has to read these journals to find out again because he's got amnesia. Two tablets of coffee. This is part of your emergency reserve. Use only once authorized. There is another grenade. My hands runneth over with fucking grenades. Alright, well there doesn't actually seem to be anything else important in here. Okay, I thought the generator was going out, but yeah, that is the demo. I was wondering how far I was going to go, but you can see why it might be kind of a short game, because I think that map we looked at is most of the areas in the game. It doesn't show the Roman tunnels or the excavation site, but presumably that is most of the areas you will go to. So yeah, pretty cool. You know, we didn't really get murdered more than once, but that was because there really wasn't that many threats around. It was really just the holes you had to watch out for. But it very much does feel closer to Penumbra than any of the other Amnesia games they've put out. And I dig that because I really liked Penumbra, you know? It's one of the oldest LPs on my channel. I think it was the second or third one I did. No, the second one was not Walking Dead, Land of the Dead. So I think Amnesia, or Penumbra, was the third LP I ever did. So there's an ancient LP on here. I've debated replacing it with a newer one at some point, but it's there if you want to see it. And of course I went and did Dark Descent and then Rebirth when that came out. I did those pretty close together. So at this point I played most of the Amnesia games except the Justine episode for Dark Descent and Machine for Pigs, which is I've not heard a lot of good things about it. You know, I did a video on it at one point, I think, but I don't remember much. It's much more of a walking sim than the other games that Frictional's done, because Frictional didn't make it. You know, it was primarily made by the Chinese Room, the developer who more or less kickstarted the walking sim trend with Dear Esther. But anyway, I've played most of the Amnesia games. I am looking forward to this one, and I will probably be LPing it, microphone or no, when it comes out in like 2 weeks. It comes out the day after my birthday, so that's nice. Maybe I'll use that as an excuse to just record that the whole day. Anyhow, thank you for joining me for this dip into the bunker, and we'll be back here soon. But until then, you folks all take care.